Prepare yourself for the ultimate gaming experience. April 5th through the 7th, the Midwest Gaming Classic returns to the Baird Center in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Dive into a vast world spanning over 250,000 square feet, showcasing the latest modern and retro game consoles, pinball machines, arcade games, tabletop, and so much more. Meet industry professionals, join engaging live panels, and explore the expansive vendor hall, the largest of its kind. Best of all, kids 9 and under are free. Grab your tickets online at MidwestGamingClassic.com or at the Baird Center. Welcome to the next level. Join us for the official opening ceremonies. This is the Midwest Gaming Classic Showcase. Hear from industry professionals, game creators, and more. You'll also get an insight on what's happening all weekend long at the show. Hosted by Matt Isbell and Adam Millich with a special opening performance by Brian Koenig. You don't want to miss the Midwest Gaming Classic Showcase, happening Friday, April 5th on the American Pinball Main Stage at 5 p.m. Central Time.
Hello and welcome to episode 14 in the season finale of the Midwest Gaming Classic podcast. I'm your host, Jason Garris, panel director of the Midwest Gaming Classic. The 2022 show hosted an impressive panel of a few very well-known YouTube personalities, those of which included Pat Contry, Adam Korlick, the Immortal John Hancock, Patman QC, John Riggs, and Jason Lindsey, better known as Metal Jesus. Join our panel as they discuss where they find inspiration for their videos, their favorite videos, and various gaming memories. One last thing, let's go over to the Midwest Gaming Classic website and take a look at the panels and presentations page to see who will be having a panel and what their days and times will be. Okay, we are on the homepage of the Midwest Gaming Classic website, and as you will see, if you scroll down to the middle of the page, and to the very left, you will see the Learn icon. It is underneath the Play icon. Click on the Learn icon, and you will be taken to the Panels and Presentations page. Now, for the first time in Midwest Gaming Classic history, we are actually going to have a Friday night panel. And it is the Midwest Twitch Meetup. And basically what it is, it's going to be a podcast. And let's get into what it's about. From 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., join us Friday night to talk about retro streaming on Twitch. Curious what it takes to stream retro games on Twitch? We will cover best practices for streaming from your classic console. Join partnered streamer Biz SNES and get to know some of the other streamers in the Midwest community. YouTubers and podcasters are welcome too. Now, the meat and potatoes of the panels and presentations starts on Saturday, April 6th at 11 a.m. and lasts till 11:45 a.m. American Pinball will talk about their new game, Barry O's Barbecue Challenge. Panelists include David Fix and Steve Bowden. The next one is Nostalgia Critic, Why Gaming Movies Usually Suck. Now, this is a panel that we had back in 2022, and I wasn't around for the 2023 show. I had taken the year off, but the Nostalgia Critic usually, and the crew, excuse me, usually do a good job about talking on movies. What is it about transferring a digital game to the screen that often leaves fans wondering what went so wrong? The Nostalgia Critic crew discusses many of the misses in video game adaptations and what they feel could improve those films moving forward. The next panel from 1 p.m. to 1:55 p.m. is Eugene Jarvis from Raw Thrills. Now, we've had him before on the show, and he's always full of entertaining information, basically. I do have a panel with him and Gary Stern from, I believe, the 2021 show that I have not yet put up on the podcast, but eventually will. All right, getting back to this one, One of the most prolific arcade hit designers of every era, Eugene Jarvis currently leads top arcade manufacturer Raw Thrills. Hear him give an update on what Raw Thrills is up to and learn more about what goes into creation of today's arcade hits. Game show gigs, 2 p.m. to 2:45 p.m. Join Steve Henneberry Tower from American Gladiators and Phil Moore on Nickelodeon's Nick Arcade and You're On as they sit down to talk about working on game shows, how they got into them, why they enjoyed them, and what makes that gig tough. All right, now this is always a packed room. The Retronauts. They're going to be talking about Final Fantasy VI, 30 years of the greatest RPG of all time. 4 out of 5 Retronauts agree. It's time to celebrate a masterpiece. Jeremy Parrish, Bob Mackey, Diamond Feet, and Nadia Oxford look back 3 decades and 10 numbered entries to dig into Super NES classic Final Fantasy VI and explore what makes it so mind-blowing in 1994 and such a joy to return to 30 years later. Just don't call it Final Fantasy III. Stern Pinball will be on the stage 4 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. Stern's Pinball's Jaws. You're going to need a bigger mic. Stern Pinball will present their Jaws pinball table. Panelists include the Jaws design team. Brush your teeth. You've got a little swimmer in there. I don't know what to think about that. All right, let's move on. 5 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. Motion Capture Evolution. Join the actors from Mortal Kombat and Angus from Tsunami Ninja. I think that's how you say that. Tsunami Ninja, as they talk about how motion capture worked way back in the day with the original 2D and how it has progressed as technology and time have marched on to full-on 3D and beyond. 6 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. Resident Evil Actors Panel. Join Charlie well, I'm not even going to bother to try to pronounce his name. He played Chris Rainfield and Greg Smith, Barry Burton from the original Resident Evil, Biohazard in Japan. This panel will discuss how they got involved when they learned of its success and how things played out since then. This is their first time at the show, and I believe it could be their first time at any gaming convention. So we might have an exclusive here by what I remember talking with Dan Lucen about. And first time we've done this, we are extending the panels by another presentation, another hour. We're going to have a YouTuber panel from 7 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. In years past, we've had YouTuber panels about becoming one at conventions, etc., and various other topics. This year, we'll have another one. We'll probably even have 2. The topics might cover previously covered topics or be totally new. As always, check back closer to the show for more details. All right. Now, let's get to the next day. Sunday, April 7th. From 11 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Saturday morning cartoons, Animaniacs. Speakers Doug Rice and Greg Peters, and it's moderated by Charles Mazant. Greg Peters and Doug Rice both worked the incredible Animaniacs cartoon series and both won Emmys for their incredible work. But they worked at different studios and they never met. Find out how this can be possible with this unique peek behind the curtains where you'll find out more about what else they've done in the industry and what their careers have been like. Moderated by Charles Mazant, and they meet all 3 artists and purchase their art in the featured Artist Alley section of the show. Excuse me. All right. From 12 p.m. to 12:45 p.m. From Muscles to Gaming Stardom. Join Steve Tower Henneberry from American Gladiators and John Parrish, who played Jax in Mortal Kombat, as they talk about how building their bodies also help build their careers and their muscles translate into star power. All right. From 1 p.m. to 1:45 p.m., Voice Actors Speak. Join Christopher Sean from Star Wars Rebels, Ultraman Rising, Gotham City Knights, John St. John, the voice of Duke Nukem, Big the Cat in Sonic, Edward Bosco, Has Been Hotel, Dust, WarioWare, and Bill Rogers of Pokemon Show and Games. They'll be discussing how they broke into voice acting, what their favorite roles have been, and anything else you might want to know. 2 p.m. to 2:55 p.m. P3, The Princess Bride. Multimorphic is delivering both traditional and progressive pinball games on its revolutionary physical pinball platform, the P3. Gary Stellenberg, designer and owner of Multimorphic, will discuss their new pinball table designs. And last but not least, we are extending again on the Sunday panel like we did on the Sunday show like we did the Saturday show by 1 hour by adding Channel Awesome again on becoming a YouTuber. So that's 3 p.m. to 3:45 p.m. One of the most sought after jobs for young people today is YouTuber. What does it mean to be a YouTuber? How can you get your start? And what are some of the pitfalls and possibilities you should know if you're interested in getting started? And that are the panels for the 2024 Midwest Gaming Classic. Now that I've officially announced all the panels for the 2024 Midwest Gaming Classic, let's step back in time to 2022 for the special YouTuber panel we had that year.
All right, this is our presentation. You guys are all video game YouTubers, so I'm gonna start at this end with, your name's Jason?
Yes.
There's a lot of us in the room. So I'm gonna start with you, and if you wanna just give us a quick background on you guys and your channel and what you do.
Okay. Yeah, so my name is Jason. I go by Metal Jesus Rocks on the YouTubes and the Twitters. Thank you for having me here. Very excited to be here. I haven't been to Wisconsin before, actually even the Midwest before. So even though my family is actually technically from here, but they moved to Seattle back in the 60s. So it's kind of cool to be here for the first time. So thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
How are you feeling? You got John Riggs here, and I host a channel about retro gaming nostalgia. And this is my second time here. I was here as a fan last November, and after speaking to the organizer, he was like, you know, would you like to come back? I was like, hell yeah. So I'm back for the beer and the brats and the cheese and the pretzels and more cheese curds. Cheese! Yeah! I'll take it.
My name is Patrick. Oh, sorry.
Oh, wow. What?
Otherwise known as Patman QC. I've got a YouTube channel where I do the history of documentaries. I've covered over 200 various arcade and various systems, and yeah, that's pretty much it. First time up here, and it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Awesome.
I'm John Hancock, also known as the Immortal John Hancock. First time here in Milwaukee, and I absolutely am having a blast. Great food, great people, and just like I said, I got a YouTube channel covering everything from Atari to Xbox, phone brew aftermarket, and some crazy game collecting.
My name's Adam Korlick. I've been doing retro YouTube gaming stuff for, 13 years? I'm a dinosaur on that platform. But I've been in Milwaukee many times, and I'm from Chicago. Don't hold that against me. Congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks, and I hope you guys repeat. I'm serious, I really do. Actually, to be completely honest, I kept, even from Chicago, I was calling Bucks in 5, and I sadly was right.
And he flew here, by the way.
I did.
He did not drive. He's in Chicago, and he literally flew here.
That 15-minute flight is wonderful.
I cannot pander as much as Adam just did, but that's all right. My name is Pat Contry. I've been on YouTube since 2008. Pat the NES Punk, Flea Market Madness, the CU podcast. I got a couple of books, Video Game Years, Not for Real Documentary, something else. I don't know. I forget. Nice to be here. My first time in the Upper Midwest. Thank you for having me.
And by the way, back there is Norm, the video game historian. So Norm, awesome YouTuber.
Great content.
All right, so let's go back the other way then, and just give us a little background on where you find the inspiration for your videos.
For Pat the NES Punk videos, or
Alicia Dragoon.
Alicia Dragoon? Is there children in the audience? Or I can go into that.
Or if not that, tell us where it all started with your channel.
Okay, so late 2000s, we're talking, it's still like YouTube 1.0. Retro gaming is as old as it is now for the 80s and 90s stuff. And I did a feature-length film in college. I was a writer. I'd done a short film out of that. And I was a retro game. I've been collecting Nintendo games since like 97, 98 is when I got into it. So I saw this Angry Video Game Nerd thing, and I'm like, that's interesting. This is humorous. It's looking at old games in a way that I hadn't seen done like that before, like a narrative sort of version of looking at these old games and making fun of them. So at the same time, I saw this is a call out. It's still on YouTube. I saw a review of the Three Stooges on NES. If you actually filter Three Stooges NES, and like I filtered by the oldest video first, it should come up in like 2007. And it's a review in the loosest terms of a person, playing the game, and they're like recording off of a Gateway stick mic, if you remember those things, and low quality. Did not know the Three Stooges was an old time film series from the 30s and 40s. And I said to myself, okay, I have some film knowledge, I have NES knowledge, I at least can do a video as well as that, if not better. And be a little entertaining at the same time and goofy, and that's basically how I got the impetus for doing that series back in 2008. Cool. And everyone's like, you shouldn't have even got into it to begin with.
Sorry, I didn't try to take that one. Yeah, in my case, I started in 2009. I had just come out of film school, which you would not know based on watching my content. But at the time, I was super passionate about the Dreamcast, and I was like, I was sitting on a complete collection of it. I had every accessory under the sun, and I thought, there's nobody making videos about this. I'm just gonna make them so that people, hey, if you wanna know what the flight stick was like, I had it, let's do that. And it just kind of kept going, and I eventually just kept doing more content, and then for some reason get invited to things, so thanks for having me.
You know that kid who gets talking check mark on his report card every year? So, crazy game collection, I've been collecting since the mid-90s. Early Classic Gaming Expo, who remembers that show in Vegas? Anybody remember it? It's old. Anyways, yeah, crickets. But anyways, I made a series of DVDs on how to collect, because I had a crazy game collection. I wanted to talk about it and share my knowledge with others. Started with the DVD series, and then other people said, hey, you got to do a YouTube channel. I got motivated by my friends. I was honored to be on Jason's channel as well as others, Gamester 81, and just got motivated to do my own thing. And in 2009, I started uploading some of the footage from those DVDs, which was terrible, but it's still up. And here I am now. Just refined it a little bit. At least I have a tripod now. So I'm getting like a progress. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I started out just, I saw my kids watching these videos of people playing video games, not even playing games themselves. And just looking at the content, and I said, I have a lot of video game knowledge up here, and I might as well share it with everybody else. And the first one I did was an old arcade game called WrestleFest. I don't know if you guys know that one or not. And my wife hates me for that, because whenever I would see the machine out in the wild back in the day, I'd spend a half an hour playing it on 1/4. And so now, 25 years later, I get to play it and talk about it and share the video with everybody else.
Awesome.
I got my start on Jason's channel, actually, where if you go way back to my first few videos, when he's like, hey, where can we find you on YouTube? I'm like, I don't have a YouTube channel. It's like, where can we find you on social media? And after being on his channel a couple of times, doing like NES hidden gems and all that, that's around the time when Jason was like, you know, you can have your own channel, right? You don't have to be on mine. You don't have to bug me about, hey, we should do a video together. You can have your own channel. So that's when I got into my my passion for not just the games themselves, but like the nostalgia of taking you back to, you know, to renting games and stuff like that too. And then after we did a few of those videos, kind of stumbling my way to how does YouTube work and everything like that. You know, I'd like here's how to edit Nintendo games for yourself, and I kind of ran out of those ideas. And that's when I said, I fix these games all the time, or I clean them mostly. Maybe I'll just film myself cleaning these games that I do all the time when I find games at yard sales, flea markets, estate sales, etc. And that's when the whole open cart surgery video series came about as a throwaway video. And then also it's like, more people are watching these than my other crap I was doing, so I'll just kind of focus on this section here for a while and see how it goes from there. And same with John Hancock as well, just marketing that Metal Jason was a huge influence of mine. After seeing what he did, I was like, oh shit, I can do that.
Yeah. So I'm that kid who used to love and still love making home movies. So whenever family would come over to our house, they'd fly up to Seattle, I'd be the guy who would be filming and send them back home to Texas with a home movie of their trip, hanging out with us.
Right. That's cool.
And but then also my love of retro games, and specifically working at Sierra. I worked there for most of the 1990s. And then I transitioned over into working at an actual working recording studio in Seattle. So I just married all of that together, and then along comes YouTube. And again, kind of like him, I was like, well, I can do that. And so that's what I really wanted to do, is basically make YouTube videos about retro games. Another love of mine, which is music. And also too, for me, it was really, I loved having other people on the channel. I almost thought of myself as kind of like a Jay Leno or a Jimmy Fallon, sort of like having, you know, other people come on and talk about their passions and stuff like that. So my channel is a little bit unusual that I've had 73 people on it over the years. And it's one of my favorite things about that, is to have, you know, local game collectors like these dudes over. So
Here, you do the work. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
You do the talking, I'll do the other.
Yeah.
All right, I think you're done hearing from me, so let's open it up to questions. So who has questions for our panel?
You know, raise a hand or a...
All right, you're on my side of the room, so we got you, and then...
For Jason here, two questions. The first one's pretty quick. What's your favorite of the King's Quest series?
Okay, I knew I'd be on the spot for all this. So, boy, it's going to probably be for me King's Quest 6 and or King's Quest 7 for different reasons.
Okay.
King's Quest 7 is because it's the one that was very hand-drawn. They actually got a Disney animator to do that, which I think still holds up today. But then King's Quest 6, I think, was one of the last truly great point-and-click adventure games that Roberta Williams made.
I agree. I think 5 and 6 are made.
Yeah.
And just the other question I had, what did you do before working for Sierra?
Boy, a little of everything. So, I mean, so my job at Sierra, actually, my first job at Sierra, they hired me to be the guy who would call people who weren't paying their bills. It was accounts receivable. And so I was just getting out of school, learning to program accounting software, and Ken and Roberta needed somebody in Seattle to do that. So that's why they hired me. So I had this kind of weird in on Sierra that I then turned over to testing and Q&A and tech support. So, but I mean, the jobs before then, I worked in a bar. I was a bar back. What else did I do? Oh, I worked construction. I worked at Safeway, which is bagging groceries. All that sort of stuff you do when you're very young and you just want more money for music and video games.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks, man.
Sure.
Just kind of generally for everybody, rarest system that each of you own.
Start in the line.
So for me, it is the US 64DD prototype that was found, in the Seattle area. So for those that don't know, it is a floppy disk drive that attaches to the bottom of the N64. It was released in Japan, bombed horribly, but Nintendo of North America is up in Seattle. And so they actually had developed a US version of it that boots up in English. And it's region locked to the US, so it doesn't play any Japanese games. It's really weird. But it is, as far as I know, the only one in the world. So it's pretty rare.
I don't know exactly how rare it is. I have what's, you may have heard of it, it's the Gizmondo, which is the portable, and I have two of them. And it just has a crazy, crazy backstory about how it's tied to the Swedish mafia, something about a burning Ferrari and the crashed Ferrari or something like that. And on top of that, I mean, the game system itself is like, it's really, the texture molding or whatever becomes like sticky-ish, like it kind of breaks apart chemically speaking, and I don't know, it's just kind of weird. I'd love to see, as if there was a gaming historian in the room who could do a video, hypothetically speaking, about a Gizmondo system. I'd love to see that, but I have a couple of Gizmondo systems, and I think it has a great backstory more than anything.
I don't have anything that rare, but starting from the Atari 2600 up to the Xbox One, I've got pretty much everything in between. I do have a JVC XI, which I found at a Goodwill for $3.
Oh.
So that's my claim to fame. So there you go.
That's a really tough question for me. I'll start there. Okay, I'll just pick two. So it's hard. APF Imagination Machine. So it's like a computer add-on for a console that nobody bought. And it's working, and a guy had one for sale at a PRGE, and we worked out a deal. I also have a very portable, it's like a Gold Star portable CDI unit, and Sears was using these to train their employees, and it's like a serial number 18. What is it? Wow. It's like a portable it's a portable CDI, but it's not done by them. It's when they farmed out, and so I did it on my recent CDI homebrew video. I show it, and everybody's like, "Well, that's cool." But anyways, it's just a low serial console that not a lot. It's a version of CDI that nobody's really heard of or played. So that's it.
Okay, so I kind of have two answers for that. One, I don't really own, but it's just sitting over there. I have the Sega Pluto prototype. Yeah. It's actually been downstairs, so if anyone wants to check it out, you've probably heard of the Saturn. This was like I think PS4 Pro, but they never released it. There's two in the world, and one is right there. But it's not technically mine. The one I own, though, would be the Divers 2000 Dreamcast, where Sega had this weird idea to take, they copied the iMac at the time, and they're like, make a TV that looks like an iMac that has a Dreamcast built into it. They only made 200 of these things, and the idea at the time was, this is pre-Skype, they were trying to do physical Skype. People will buy these gigantic televisions and use them for communication in their house with each other. This was really the plan. And that's the rarest thing I think I personally own because it's ridiculous.
God, it's hard for me to think of this stuff. I used to own an Imagination Machine. I sold it because I was dumb. In the mid-2000s.
No.
I have this handheld. John will know what it is. It had a separate backlight you stuck to the back. It was cream colored. There's an Aladdin game on it. There's 6 games.
Okay.
It's very.
Is it the Palmtex Super Micro?
Yes.
Yes.
Look at that. You don't see them at conventions.
They never work right either.
No, the left button doesn't work, and but the right kind of does.
Yeah, and the lights are they worked maybe 20 years ago for a day.
Yeah, so it had a separate backlight you could attach to the back of this thing.
Okay, that's right.
And it's I never see them at conventions, and no one cares. They're garbage. But it's interesting.
Very rare. It's very rare.
All right, we have another question over here.
This one's for Jason. What's your favorite NES game?
Okay, I know what this is. Excitebike. Because I remember loving playing Excitebike in the arcades. I love motorcycles, I love racing games, and when I played Excitebike on the NES, I was like, God, this game, it's a great version of it. So that's the first thing that comes to mind for sure. But that could also, we could ask all of these guys. They also know NES.
I know a little bit about
NES.
NES.
The guy named NES Punk.
Let's go down the line to the same question. Favorite NES game?
To be very quick about my go-to, my most passionate NES game of all time is Princess Tomato: The Salad Kingdom, and for its own story that I'll talk about another time. But my go-to favorite NES game of all time is Zelda 2.
Okay.
Oh, a real Zelda game.
Oh, I should have said yeah, I need this too. I should have last
For me, the original Batman game.
Yeah. I go back to this quite a bit. I love NES ice hockey. Just absolutely love it, man. Just a killer. It's got intensity. There's some strategy, choosing what the size characters, the fat, skinny, or medium. Oh man, I can play that. I just put a smile on my face.
My pandering answer would be all the homebrews they've made. But my real answer would be Super Mario Bros. 3. Big
land. Yeah.
Danny Solves indeed.
There we go.
Super Dodgeball is one I was like, that's a game that very replayable, has a personality of its own, it's action, it's sports, there's nothing else on the system. Quite like it.
Awesome.
I'm wondering, what is a game that you had to buy to complete a collection that made you say, I can't believe I'm spending this much for this piece of garbage?
Wow.
John?
Yeah.
Wow.
So tell everyone how many complete U.S. collections you have.
Well, okay, so there's a little asterisk because there's always something I'm missing, and I don't have them all complete, but technically of computers, handhelds, and video games for the U.S., 34.
34 complete collections.
So, I mean, it's
You bought a lot of crappy games.
yes. And
A lot of
this is
shovelware.
an overall, and I'll, like I said, I'll be quick about this. It's overwhelming to think about how many sports games or games to complete a collection. So, like, my dream is to have my collection in the public. That's a long-term goal. So, like, having part of my collection at PRGE, that's like the highlight. Having my Sega Genesis collection for everybody to look at the artwork. And I gotta tell you, I bought some games I'll never play. Because, I mean, it's overwhelming how many games I have, but the goal is to have it public. So I would just say, off the top of my head, like crappy games, there's so many. I'll just say Cheetahman 2. So Cheetahman 2, okay, what do you think, Pat? You agree with that? Yeah, Cheetahman 2?
Pretty bad.
Okay, yeah, Cheetahman 2.
I think that's 0 stars according to a certain NES guy.
Yeah, amazing book. Yeah, Cheetahman 2 is my answer. All right. Yes.
Which direction are we going?
Oh, I don't have a complete
Yeah, I don't have any complete collections.
I only got 4 or 5.
Oh, please.
I think the NES, the problem with the NES in terms of volume, the average NES game is probably with Atari, like you're going to have 150 bad, atrocious games.
Yes.
The problem with the NES is that unlike the other consoles, that's where all the collectors got in. Completion is collectible to say. So all the bad games on the NES are a lot of money, the rare ones. All the Color Dreams ones, all the
Punch games.
Yeah, all the ones that no one cares about, they're all hard to find. Most of them are garbage. So you're gonna end up buying 100 to 150 games that are like 1.5 stars or worse out of 5. You're never gonna play them. There's a reason they didn't sell. There's a reason they're unlicensed, and it's depressing to think about.
Yeah.
I have 3. It's an odd combination. I've got the Dreamcast, but I'm also a bad collector because I'm like, hey, I want all the American stuff, but I also want all the European exclusives and the Japanese exclusives, and that's where you die. So I have a full Dreamcast set. I also have a full Wii U set, and for some reason, Jaguar CD. But of all of those, the Dreamcast by far was the hardest, and the one I have to be embarrassed by is a game called Grauen, everybody stick with me here, Grauen no Tori Kagu, capital 6 Senritsu. Took me a long time to memorize that. So for some reason in Japan, Sega decided to do like the equivalency, everybody remembers Club Nintendo where you collected points, and they had a thing called Sega Direct. And they made this game series you could only buy through points in Japan, except for the first one. And it got progressively less and less common to get these. In fact, the last one, the one I just referred to, only has 200 copies, and is known anyway. Sega brought me to Japan a few years ago for like a big anniversary thing, and they had like, here's our museum of the Dreamcast, here's everything, and I asked them about that game. They're like, we have the first 5, we don't have the 6th. I have 2 copies. And that was the dumbest thing I ever tracked down in my life. But it had to be done, otherwise it's not done.
That's right.
We have problems, yes.
Okay, since a lot of you have started in the early YouTube era, I'd like to know, what was your first video game capture setup? In other words, capturing footage. Nowadays, we have a lot of the stuff, obviously we got like the retro tank line and OSSC. Back in the days, how did you actually get your footage digitized?
Well, it's way easier now, for sure. I mean, it used to be that sort of old, over-the-shoulder thing, like there's, I remember trying to do a video with Reggie where we were trying to do the Neo Geo Pocket, and it's a non-backlit screen. I have this bright light over his shoulder. I'm crouched over him. What's that?
N-Gage to add to that.
Oh, that's right. We did the N-Gage too.
Yeah, you're like, hey, can you film that? I'm like, sure.
Yeah. rough. Yeah. N-Gage is especially tricky because it was a cell phone and it required an active SIM card. Well, you can't use that today.
No.
So in order to even play those games, you have to have a GameStop like employee version of the N-Gage, right? It was crazy.
Yeah, there's ways around that, but like it's a pain in the butt.
It's a total pain in the butt. Yeah. I mean, it's so much easier today because now there's all sorts of cables that will convert to HDMI, and you just use an Elgato or something like that.
I started my YouTube channel like 2014, so there's already options there. And the first thing I had was some cheap, I think it was made by Papa Gauge or something like that. It's whatever, however you pronounce that. But it was a USB port that had a literal RC or RF adapter. So it was literally my top loader NES through the RF thing they had to screw in, and I felt like I was like back in the 80s, like where you can't see it, but you can feel it, you're screwing it in, and it still falls out because you're not exactly centered and everything. Yeah, but it worked for the time, and that was kind of my introduction to, okay, now that I've worked with this, now I immediately need an upgrade. But that was my first one, and so it wasn't so bad.
I started in 2018, and again, at that point, there were plenty of options. Due to my disabilities, I can't hold a standard controller, so all the footage I record are through emulators, MAME, and things like that.
Okay.
So I started with Bandicam, if you guys have ever used that.
Sure. Yeah.
So and then upgraded from there.
I think I had a potato, like seriously. My tech skills starting out, I didn't know anything, and like thanks to my friends, they really kind of encouraged me, hey, you need to get an Elgato. So that was like my first thing that I used to capture footage. Before it was just line that right up, get that like TV set just right, and make sure that your film, and I learned this later, like your film frame rate has to be just right, or it's gonna look like crud.
Right.
Anyways, so that's that. Like I started off rough, and then now I use like an upgraded Elgato, and so that's where I'm at now.
And by the way, the Retro Tank 5X.
Oh yeah, I use that too.
And the OSSC.
Yeah.
Those two devices really kind of changed the game.
FrameMeister.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff to convert from that sort of analog signal to something that you can capture way better.
Super helpful.
Short answer is I didn't. For like years, I just never captured gameplay until eventually I don't know what it was. I found like an old Pinnacle Studio. Anybody ever even hear of that?
Heard of that?
Yeah, they had their own like composite to USB adapter. I'm like, oh, the future is here. And so I was recording with that for like a minute until I saw this thing called Component, and I was like, wow, much better. Then I got something like an AverMedia.
Oh, AverMedia, I remember that.
I don't know, HD DVR thing. I don't know.
I used that for my DVDs.
And then, yeah, exactly. And then for the longest time, like, this is amazing. And then they're like, no, this is garbage. Here's the new thing. It changes every 20 minutes. But now, yeah, he's right. Like, you have the Retro Tank 5X and everything that just simplifies your life. Yeah. Mike Chi, you're an unsung hero in the community. Oh, yeah. And I don't know if you're ever going to see this, but one of you will tweet at him and say he's awesome. And he's right. You're right.
I mean, these are NES games, late 2000s. I started to use emulators to do that job. I use Nesticle, JNES. Shout out to JNES, anyone? JNES?
Yeah.
It's not, for stuff like cover graphics, that was mostly captured off of real hardware. I did our Sega Master System, but for NES stuff, I don't care. No one cares. NES games, emulation's fine.
He's still bitter about it.
A question for all. Can you name a game or console that you want but you still don't have?
Oh, yeah.
Or we can start with that. Here, go back.
I got enough. I got enough. I got consoles I don't even know the names of that we're trying to think of, so I'm done. I mean, that's the smart answer, but since we're not, I have to go with a console like maybe you've heard of. The FM Towns Marty. Does anyone know what that is? Yes. Hey, all right, I should have guessed that wrong. Yeah. It's the first 5th gen console, and nobody. It only came out in Japan. I've seen like one once. That's like the most obscure thing I don't own at this point. That is like actually attainable, and I doubt it will ever happen. To be completely honest.
The reasonable answer would be a building and staff, so my collection can leave my game room. So, but the real, if I really wanted, there's 2 things I would love to get someday, and that's the original Intellivision computer add-on. And so that's really hard to get and hard. It was test marketed in Seattle. The other thing was an Odyssey 3, and it was just it was a concept, and a version of it came out overseas. And essentially added background graphics to Odyssey 2 games. It's an old console that came out in the late 70s. But it's in only prototype form. One or a few have been found. I'm sure VGM has one, but that's like my holy grail unicorn that I love to get.
The only thing I could think of would be the X68000 computer. You guys have ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
Released only in Japan. Excellent system, but that's about it.
What's the reaction when I say Atari Intellivision Amico? Anyone? No one? Okay. Well, maybe my buddy over here in the corner. There you go. How you feeling, man? Good? Yep. All right, we're good. I would say, just for fun, I play with one. I honestly don't need one, but I wouldn't mind having a Casio Loopy, which is a Japanese system.
I had 2.
Yeah, I 100% believe you. If you're not familiar, it was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it was basically a Japanese game system, without being whatever. It's a Japanese game system for girls that comes with a built-in sticker machine, so you can print off stickers and put them on your window or mirror or something.
Parents love that.
Yep. Okay.
Parents love that.
Yeah.
I think for me, what I started getting really excited about lately is trying to collect some classic computers, some computers that I kind of skipped over, because I basically went from a Commodore 64 to a 286 to, Intel machines. And so I've been kind of going back and getting some Macs and some Apple computers that I missed. Specifically, in the last couple of years, I picked up an Apple Cube, one of those beautiful computers ever made. It's so killer. And then recently I got one of those classic G3 iMacs, the colored ones. And so to kind of complete that, I would also like to find a really good condition G3 clamshell MacBook, those colored MacBooks that they had. There's no good reason for me to, I'm never going to play a game on it, but they're so neat, so I'd like to get one in very good condition.
I'm going to add a little PS because you said Q and it made me think of this. Anybody here of the Nintendo iQ?
Oh, yeah.
All right. That the only officially Nintendo licensed console that ever came out in China, and it's like a version of the N64 that was like a portable. But what makes it interesting is that it was like an authorized thing. Right. I would like one of those. Do you have one of those? You seem like you would.
I know
he does.
He does.
All right. Round of applause for you.
All right, question back here.
Hi there. First off, I was able to get an N-Gage to work with an inactive SIM card.
Okay.
So as long as you can find one of those.
Okay.
Secondly, do you have any advice for people trying to kind of break through the massive number of video game YouTube channels out there and get themselves noticed?
I might go for it.
Spill your secrets.
Don't.
That's it?
Go.
You're not getting to any artistic endeavor, which this counts as, with the main goal of getting noticed. That's a recipe for failure. Not just professionally, but personally, that's not a reason to get into anything. I'm not speaking for all of us, but I'm sure none of us got into it saying, I'm going to be on a panel one day in Milwaukee talking about this stuff. It's 13, 14, 15 years later. Get into it because you personally enjoy it, you get gratification out of it, you feel fulfilled in some way creating and doing things. That should be the starting point. if by chance, miracle, quality of work, combination of a lot of people glom onto what you're doing, you get noticed, great. Don't expect that to happen. Especially in the retro game realm where it's a small slice of a huge gaming pie. So do it because you like it, you enjoy it, not because, hey, I want to be a 100,000 YouTuber in a few years. Like it could happen, but that's not a reason to get into it.
So to add to that a little bit, I always tell people, it's like, if you were to, there's a lot of new music released every single week. And if you were to decide one day that you want to become a famous rock band, how would you go about doing that, right? If you're going to do that, well, you're going to spend time learning your instrument. In our case, it's video editing software. You're going to learn how to write songs, which in cases is learning from other musicians, like what you like about songs, what you don't like, kind of what your flavor is going to be. And then essentially, you're going to play small clubs that are going to have 14 people standing in there for years, and half of them are going to be girlfriends or boyfriends of the band. You know what I mean? And that's going to be your life, and that's the life of YouTube, is that you, in many ways, you just need to outlast people. You just need to kind of you just have to love it so that when people tell you that you can't do it, you're like, I don't care, I'm still going to do it. When I left my corporate IT job, my CEO looked me in the face and said, this is a bad idea, you're going to fail. And that was 7 years ago. And he just recently, in the last year or so, told me, he's like, I was wrong. But it's because, in many ways, it kind of kicked me in the butt a little bit. I'm like, well, damn it, I'm going to do this thing, And so, and again, very much like a band. It's just that, you build that small following, you build up a community. For me, it's very much not only just about YouTube, it's also about social media. So if you notice, like whenever I post a video, it goes to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, it goes all over the place, Discord, because I don't want to rely on one system to just be the outlet for my videos. I remember talking to a YouTuber about 5 years ago, and he asked me kind of the same question. He's like, well, I don't want to do social media. I'm like, good luck. I mean, if a band was to say, I don't want to do social media, you would probably never go anywhere. So I always look at my YouTube channel with the kind of a music slant and how you would do that as a band.
I mean, those are both, they basically said it, but I would say one other thing to throw out there is I've seen a lot of people who are just like, hey, I'm just going to start this. They get like one negative comment and they're done. You have to expect people are going to call you fat, you look bad, your video sucks. You got to just be like, yeah, I don't care. I don't know you. I don't respect your opinion. You mean nothing to me. So just make your video that you would be proud of. And the best advice I can really give you is, if you see a thing missing from the platform that you feel you have a unique voice to express, make the video you yourself would want to watch. And just do that organically, because eventually that audience will find you because you are making something worth watching. And to your other point, I was one of the 6 kids with an N-Gage who actually had it as a phone, so I could actually help you prepare for this.
I mean, they pretty much answered it as Adam said, but the 2 things I would add is, I think you have to be consistent. You have to have a schedule. Being a teacher, you have to find a schedule that works for you, that you can be consistent. That's once a week or twice a week, but you got to keep to that schedule. And you can't expect it to magically change soon. It's going to take time to grow a channel, as Jason said. And I think the big thing too, I've learned this a long time, you got to watch other YouTubers. You got to invest time in YouTube and see other people, and it may not be your style, but learn from it. And try a bunch of different channels and check things out. But if you're not watching YouTube yourself, but you want to be a YouTuber, that's a big mistake, I think.
I think you said it all. I couldn't, I was going to say be consistent, but you stole my answer, so sorry. That's okay.
That's all good.
Good job.
All right, this question's for all of you. What's a really terrible game that you guys like?
Shout out to Ian, Wally Bear and the No Gang. I like that game. It's goofy. It's fun. Just say no, kids. I don't know. I mean, usually, it's not like, to me, games are not exactly the same as movies. Like, when a movie is bad, it's just hilarious sometimes. But a video game is bad, you're just like, this just sucks. I don't know. I would have to like legitimately think about that one for a while. What do you got?
Well, I mean, endless possibilities, but...
Oh, I like Space Jam on the Saturn.
Oh, yeah.
I had a PS1. I love that game. I don't even care. I know it's stupid. It's one game of just basketball back and forth that never changes in variety. I almost broke a PlayStation playing it that much. Of course, I was like 12, but yeah, I still like it.
So I'm a big fan of like budget releases, knowing that sometimes they're just really bad. And Darkstone was a PC game. It was okay. It was kind of a Diablo clone, but the PlayStation one is so bad. Who's played that? Darkstone it was published by Take-Two Interactive, and it's fugly, it's ugly looking, it's just nasty looking. You can barely recognize the characters, but I like it because it's it's a collectathon. It's an isometric. Hey, you have your character, you go around and you gather weapons and stuff and magic, and it's fun. I enjoy it.
A game that gets a lot of hate is Pit Fighter, the arcade game.
Oh yeah.
Now, I still like that game, even though most people crap all over it whenever they get the chance.
The arcade game is good.
The Genesis version is good.
I hate your game. The Pit Fighter on the arcade is good.
It is good.
Yeah.
The Super Nintendo one, not so much.
No. Super Nintendo one is awful.
Right.
But
Yeah.
your arcade game is quality.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't let anyone push down a Pit Fighter love out there, remember?
One that most people generally hate for the sake of hating, but I genuinely liked it, is E.T. for the Atari 2600. Like, once you know, I promise you, why are you laughing? Once you know how to play it, it's actually kind of a fun game. It really is. I'm from the day. I was 5 years old. We bought it. My dad bought it for us for that Christmas, 1982, and we were probably one of the billion who didn't return it. I actually genuinely like playing that game, still like it today.
Wasn't that developed in 6 weeks?
Well, yes.
6 weeks by Howard Scott Warshaw.
Yeah.
Nicest guy in the world.
Props to Howard.
He's fantastic, so give it up to Howard.
Yeah, that's right, Howard.
Impossible. So we were just talking about this last night, and I don't know if it was you who mentioned this, but you were spot on about this. Cyberpunk 2077, man. It's like those glitches with people halfway in and cars falling from the sky. Love that stuff. You know? It was hilarious.
That's what it is.
Hilarious.
All right, one more here.
I just had a quick question for John Hancock. What's your home address?
What is a police station?
Okay, that was too quick.
Wrigley Field, what, Blues Brothers? Wrigley Field?
Yeah, go with that.
Yeah, Wrigley Field.
He lives at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, Wrigley
Go
Field.
visit him.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so whoever wants to answer this, we're going to get philosophical here. So I'm curious, as you know, any content you create is like consumed within minutes from hundreds of thousands of people. What are your thoughts on the impacts that YouTube is having on the gaming community and the gaming culture of today?
Like the entirety of the platform or us? Because I don't think we're doing much.
Or you?
The most, if I think I understand your question correctly, the most common impact I'm told I've had on people is like, hey, you got me into collecting stuff, and I'm always like, sorry. Like, that's a curse. There has been, I'm sure, I know from experience for myself, and I'm sure this applies to everyone up here, but you do occasionally get people who come up with like, hey, I've been fighting depression, your videos really helped me through it, like, I was in the hospital, or I was suicidal, or things like that, and for some reason, watching us like clean something means something to them. And that's kind of powerful, and I can't, like he said before, I don't think any of us got into it for that type of thing, but it's interesting to see that result. So I would think overall, with the exception of the dramatic stuff that unfortunately does happen on the platform, I would say overall the gaming community typically helps the rest of the gaming community through videos. At least that's what I think.
I think for me, one of the interesting things about YouTube is that it has allowed you to find content about what you are truly interested in a way that never existed before. And growing up, in the 70s and 80s, you were stuck with whatever was on television. And it was never so dialed in like it is now, where you can find the most, smallest interest, which is so cool. And like you're saying, in retro gaming, there are thousands of channels and
Endless.
millions of hours. What's that?
Endless.
Endless,
choices.
absolutely endless.
Yeah.
And so, and again, beyond just sort of like retro gaming, like if you like, one of my favorite things is Jay Leno's Garage. That is a thing that would have not have existed because they wanted him to be a talk show host, but yet here his true passion is collecting really cool cars, and it was through YouTube that he was able to actually share that with the world and with viewers like me. So I think that's what's pretty neat about YouTube. Everything's out there.
Oh, all right.
No, that was great. You want the digital download for the Super Nintendo book?
Nice. All right, so that was our last question, but we do have a special presentation to add in here. So I'm gonna hand it over here and you can take over.
All right, thanks guys. So my name's Todd Friedman. I work with Old School Gamer Magazine. It's a retro gaming magazine published bi-monthly. Go to oldschoolgamermagazine.com. I'm also involved with Walter Day and the trading cards. I don't know if you've heard of Walter Day or seen the trading cards. We have about almost 2,000 cards that we've presented to different people throughout the gaming community. Designers, developers like Howard's Car Wash, which we were just talking about. So tonight I have 5 people that I'd like to give an award out for. Some of them are on stage. I apologize for the ones who aren't. I did reach out to some people, but I understand not everyone, wants to get involved. But we will start with John Riggs up there, who will get his awards. Yeah.
I'll take it.
So everyone knows John Riggs, obviously, big YouTuber, but I think he's very deserving of a trading card and representing the gaming community. I've given everyone their trading cards already, so if you want some signed, they can definitely sign for you. But John, here's your award.
Thank you. Appreciate
You're
this.
welcome. Yep.
Fancy, fancy. I'll take it. Look at this. It's me on the card.
Anything to say, John, on that? Or?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, this is cool. It's another one of those you never thought you'd get into YouTube for being, for making an impact or anything like that. So it's just it's cool to have your own literal card coming from, card collecting and whatnot from back in the 80s and whatnot. So yeah, how many times can I say whatnot? Whatnot brought me here, by the way. So shout out to whatnot.
Definitely whatnot. Yes. Okay. Also, John Hancock is getting an award as well. Very deserving. Congratulations, John, for all your contributions. You're welcome. Any speech?
I just want to say microphone. I know, I'm terrible at this. So I just want to thank all the creators up here, as well as several creators in the audience for the positive support, the friends, the comments, the people that came up to the booth today and just talked and how it helped them through a time or just enjoy having me. Even the people that are like, hey, I was going through having medical rehabilitation on my arm or something, and your voice was in the background and it helped me. So I just want to say thank you to everybody's support and more content to come. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. What's up? Yeah. All right. We have another YouTuber in the crowd down on the stage, but we'd like to represent him. He started his channel in 2018. He's the host of the Game Dad Show. Yeah. So check him out.
Uh-oh.
Chris Carlson, come on out.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Chris has his cards as well. Anything to say?
Yeah, it's smarter.
Surprise, you're on a panel.
Hey, how's it going? Hi, everyone. None of you know me. I'm very fluffy today. I know you. So, yeah, I mean, this was cool. Todd hit me up and I was like, why? But I guess, okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a cool recognition, and, over the years being able to meet and hang out with all these guys and, Gardo Ferrari, that's always fun.
Yeah, you didn't damage it, did you? Sega Pluto, sorry.
But no, yeah, this is awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. No problem. Yeah, thanks, Chris. All right, we have the host of the YouTube channel Square Pegs.
Yeah.
Whoever watches that, Jay Malone, come on up. Very proud of her job, yeah. Very proud of you. There you go, Jay.
Channel.
Definitely talk about your channel.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. So imposter syndrome is a real thing, and I feel really weird being up here right now. I started in 2019 and had no aims towards anything. And through the help of John and everyone else, and Chris, who's like my brother, and Gary, is Gary even here?
Square pegs, Gary.
Yeah, this is such an honor. I would never have expected anything like this, and just thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Now this one, I don't know if he has a YouTube channel, but he's definitely deserving of a contribution to the gaming community. He is the Midwest Gaming Classic panel director and the TV MGC personality, Jason Garris. Come on up. He's been doing this a very long time. I think actually you're on Twitch, right? You have your Twitch channel? There you go.
Wow. So I'm on the spot, and usually I work in the background. I make sure that these panels go as smooth as possible, and that all of our esteemed guests are happy, and that you are happy. I've been doing this now for 8 years, and I started out wanting to do a documentary on this show, and now I'm here every year filming these panels and meeting these great people. And I really love that everybody has come out here today and keeps coming out here every year. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you.
All right, let's have another round of applause for our panel. You know, can we do a group selfie?
Yeah,
Group selfie.
Can we do a group selfie, everyone?
Let's do a group selfie.
Okay.
So,
Should we, how do we do, in front or?
Or just like.
No, with the crowd and everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna come down there, stand about right there, and if you could stand up here and take a photo of the crowd.
Oh, we're doing like the old Oscars thing?
Yeah, but wait, let's.
Sorry, Adam.
By the way, thank you everybody for coming out to mostly see them. I appreciate that.
All right. We're going to take a bunch of these, so count of 3. All right? 1, 2, 3. Another one. 1, 2, 3. Another one. 1, 2, 3. And there's one over there.
All right, as promised, here we are in my Steam library, and specifically in the Atari Recharged section. And as you can see, I have 10 Atari Recharged games. And the reason why I say 10 is because there's actually 2 versions of Missile Command Recharged. I believe there was kind of like a demo version. That's what I'm guessing. Then there's a later version. I believe the demo version was perhaps $4.99, and the regular version, of course, is $9.99 like the rest of them. As you can see, the art is a little bit different from one to the other. Let's see here what happens when I hover over it. So as you can see, there's like backgrounds to the actual gameplay on this version. This is the newer version. And then the older version will just have the grid pattern, much like in Asteroids Recharged. No backgrounds. So let's see here. Now, this one just says Missile Command Recharged, and then the Missile Command Recharged 2020 is a lot different in look, as you can see. So I have Asteroids, Berzerk, Black Widow, Breakout, Caverns of Mars, Centipede, Gravatar, 2 versions of Missile Command, Quantum, and Yars Recharged. And I think I'm going to go with the much controversial Berzerk Recharged for the first game. Now, the reason why I say most controversial is because there are people that are complaining about the game because it doesn't quite live up to the original, because it's been reimagined, so to speak. So if you've never seen it before, you'll see it here for the first time. You can make up your own mind. I'm not going to sway you in any way. I think the animation style could have been a little bit different and maybe a little bit more representative of even the box art from the original 2600 game. It doesn't have to look like the original arcade game or the original 2600 game, but maybe a better representation or a melding of both of those. You'll see once I start playing if you haven't seen it before. So let's get into it. All right. And of course, I'm using my trusty Xbox PC controller here, the nice glow one. All right, we will go straight into arcade mode. Right now, I'm not going to use any bonuses. I'm just going to go straight into for the gameplay. All right, so as you can see here, excuse me as I clear my throat, can go 360 degrees with the gun, and then of course I can do right trigger for, I do it for shooting, and then left trigger for power up, and LB for, oh, that's funny. See, now it says right trigger, but I have the right shoulder here. I'm using the right shoulder. I guess I can change that at any time. Oh, there we go. As I'm running, I can use the right trigger. All right. There we go. There's the dash, which can be helpful. All right. Let's get going here. Wow, not bad. These suckers I don't like at all. They're like mines that follow you. There we go with Evil Auto. We can go into Evil. Oh, I can go into Evil Auto's where he comes from. That's interesting. Get that. Whoa, whoa. I was just moving the cursor out of the way. Oh. I just keep, most of the time I just keep that trigger, keep that trigger pressed. All right. That was kind of close one there with Evil Auto. Ah, could hit a broadside of a barn there. Oh, got another one. Whoa! Gee whiz, I got hit a couple times on that one. Yeah, these guys now, you got to hit them more than once. Got health? Well, I needed that for sure. Alright. At least this evil auto, I feel like I can outrun a bit. Nice. Whoa, I didn't... Oh, man! Brutal. I had full restore on my health and I got hit 3 times. Get that 3-way. Yeah, that shotgun. It'll be very helpful. It didn't last long. Ugh. Ow, I hate those. Well, there you go. I hate those heat-seeking bombs. Alright. Let's do some missions. Destroy all enemies. Like ran right into those bullets. Laser blasts. Yep, not a fan of those heat seekers at all. And there's one right up there, and one down there that I did not see. Alright, completed a mission. Hey, I got an achievement. Oh, guess I hit retry. I do not want to retry it. Let's quit. Oh. Alright, let's go to the next one. Destroy all enemies. Go that way. No! I almost didn't make it. Well, I guess I gotta find them. Ah! Or at least I got those heat seekers out of the way. Alright, mission completed. Oh no, I have this on Switch too, and I played in my large game room, on my large game room TV, which is an older projection TV. And it doesn't look too bad, but it looks really good here on Steam. Did I get hit? Wanted to move quick on that one. Well, that super dash worked out quite well. Ah! Ran right into that one. All right. Got all of them heat seekers. Alright, this will help out. Alright, got some health, that's nice. Whoa! All right, mission completed. If you see me looking back, it's because I have a couple cats in here and seeing what they're doing. Nope, didn't want to retry. All right, let's go to a different one. I got 60 enemies to get on this one, and I get hit right away because of those stupid heat seekers. Man, those shotguns do not last very long. Looks like it's the end of the line here. Go back up. Over to the left here. All right. Ah, man, I walked right into that one. I got 30 more to find. Kind of trying to remember where I went before. There we go. Nice. That looks like I can get myself some health. Come on, buddy. I was here already. As they get closer to you, those heat seekers, they get faster. Speaking of which, all right, had Evil Otto take out the last one. All right, let's go to this one. All right, let's get my bearings. Oh boy. This isn't good. I thought I'd maybe be able to outsmart them, but that didn't happen. Alright, as you can see, this is the first one I've had to redo or retry. Alright, got through that one. Oh, man. All right. Try to have Evil Otto help me out. Oh, man. He, like, stopped me. Whoa. Let's see if I can get evil out of that. Oh! I touched the wall. Yeah, not good. Alright, I'll give this one more try. It's nice to be able to take care of those heat seekers further away, because that's what you want to do. Whoa. Oh, man. Man, you know, it's like my biggest mistake is I just walk right in front of those. Right in front of the bullets, right? They go slow enough. Well, no, looks like I got an achievement. Alright, let's see what my achievements are. Little by little. Complete a mission, alright. Dirty work, destroy 150 drones. That was my last one. Well, it looks like that's all I got. I thought I had gotten 3. Oh well. Alright. Let's quit this one. And let's find a new one to play. Okay, why don't we go to Yars Recharge. That one is a really, really good game and has gotten great reviews. As you can see, I've played this a few times already. I have 10 of 15 achievements. hit it more than once. Alright, let's try this again. There we go. Definitely don't want to get trapped in those hexagons when the cannon is ready to fire. Alright, now we gotta get that cannon. Eat some of these hexes away, or shield fragments. Oh, I got hit. Well, that's not cool. There we go. I do not like those cannons. I don't think they help very well. Oh, that was close. Tiles out of the way. All right. All right. No, this one's going to definitely be a challenge. As you don't want to get trapped in here. That's easy to do. get it from... I don't think I can. Yeah. I hit it once. I gotta clear all these hexes out of the way. I gotta time this just right to get into that opening. These are so tough I can't even eat through them. Can I do anything else? Oh yeah, I can. Okay. Wow, that cannon helped. Go. Wow. There we go, finally. I think I'll drink to that. Let's see if I can get this one down a lot quicker. Nope. Should have been up a little bit higher. Get these out of the way. Alright. Wait for it to go around as my power is going down. There we go. Perfect. Had one shot there. Just enough for one. I think it's about the fastest I've ever gotten the cannons out of the way. Alright. That one was nice and, well, nice and easy. It went very smooth. Whoa. Alright. Get the rest of the shield away. Alright. Perfect. Whoa, 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 whoa! 3 of them. Whoa! I had to get out of the way quick. All right, there's one down. Alright, there's another down. I really didn't think... I guess I'm counting my chickens. I didn't think I was going to make it through this one. Alright. There we go. Wow, I really didn't think I was going to make that. Alright, I'm going to take a break here and have a drink. Alright. Alright, continue. Ugh. Alright, got the bottom one. Whoa! Rid of another one. All right, one more to go. Oh, I got hit. I got a little too cocky there. right. Well, there's one. Looks like I got all my power back too. Alright, here we go with the last one. Alright. I got away from that one quite quickly, and I didn't expect to. Oh! Oh, man. See, there I go again, getting a little too cocky. A little longer to fill up my... Oh! I died! Wow. Hmm. 67,580. Well, I think that'll be it for this evening's gameplay. And let's get back to the show. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed the last episode, episode 14 of season 1 of the Midwest Gaming Classic podcast. I really enjoyed that panel, not only because of receiving a Walter Day card and award, which was a great honor. I have it actually, the award itself, hanging in my game room, but actually meeting all of those really cool YouTubers that I've been watching for a very long time. And that was, as you had seen, if you had watched this podcast, the amount of people that showed up, the guests at the convention in 2022 to see all the YouTubers, it packed the room, and I'm glad we had a large room at that time because it was a very large crowd, and everybody had their favorite YouTuber that they wanted to see. So all of them were great. I really enjoyed interacting with them, and it was a very informative and fun panel. And the surprise at the end from the Walter Day Foundation was pretty darn cool, and from Old School Gamer magazine. It was a really cool thing to be part of and being involved in. And that's it. That's the last episode for season 1 of the Midwest Gaming Classic podcast. I'd like to thank you for either watching and or listening to the podcast. I greatly appreciate it. And I'd like to let you know that since it's the last episode of the podcast before the Midwest Gaming Classic convention, I will not be having a podcast episode the weekend of the convention because we're going to have way too many things going on Twitch and possibly on YouTube at the same time. So we have tournaments that usually get posted or live streamed on either YouTube and or Twitch. So I'm going to be taking a break after the show for probably maybe a month or two to get all the panels in line and ready for season 2 of the Midwest Gaming Classic podcast. And I actually have a couple surprises that I may be starting off with for season 2 of the podcast. So with that said, I'd like to thank you very much for either listening or watching the podcast. I greatly appreciate it. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and game on.